Right, let's begin here. As South Africa commemorates 16 days of activism against the abuse of women and children, a police officer who allegedly shot dead his ex-wife, well, should we say soon-to-be ex-wife, and a relative at the Durban Magistrates Court has died in hospital. The officer turned the gun on himself. The shooting has led to questions about how firearms can be smuggled into courtrooms. Justice Minister Michael Masuta has initiated an official investigation by his department into the circumstances surrounding the shooting. Well, my colleague Siphamandla Goge is following this story and joins us live from our Durban studios now. Siphamandla, good morning to you. So, how are authorities explaining how this police officer, who presumably was off duty and going to a case at that court that involves him, how did he manage to get a gun inside the premises?
According to the police in KwaZulu-Natal, it's easy. They say that he was a police officer. He produced his police credentials, so therefore it was easy for him to bring in the gun inside court. We have also spoken to some people who were there. They said the court security did search everyone, but the alleged shooter produced the police badge and said, I'm the police officer. Apparently, he did not declare that he was coming in for a matter that involves him. So it was easier for the court security to allow him inside the court with that gun. But that contradicts what the Department of Justice said, because according to police in KwaZulu-Natal, that was the sequence of events, because the man did identify himself as a police officer, and they say therefore they couldn't do anything to take the gun away from him because he said, I'm the police officer. They allowed him in. But the Department of Justice is adamant that they have launched an investigation to try and determine how he was able to bring in that gun. But I guess what makes this matter very complicated is the fact that the court security and some police officers were not aware that he is an interested party in the divorce matter that was underway in court.
Siphamandla, take us back to yesterday. Take us back to the circumstances that led to this particular officer shooting dead someone who was soon to be his ex-wife, alongside, of course, the wife's brother, and then turning the gun on himself. What precipitated this?
There was a divorce matter to be heard in court. The proceedings were underway in the morning. Around about 11, the court adjourned. Therefore, the shooter was consulting with his lawyer. The siblings, that is the wife and the brother, they were also consulting with the wife's lawyer. And then after that, when they went inside court for the proceedings to resume, it is believed, or it is alleged, that the shooter, who is the police officer, then took out the gun, shot and killed his wife, and shot and killed his brother-in-law. He turned the gun on himself. He was critical yesterday, but he died later on in hospital. According to the lawyer of the wife, she told me that her client had been involved in this lengthy divorce matter with the deceased, and that is the shooter, the police. So she told me that it's a matter that has dragged on for quite a number of months or years, if I'm not mistaken, because apparently the alleged shooter would just change the legal representatives every time they have to appear in court. Some people told me yesterday that the shooter had met his lawyer for the first time because it was a new lawyer, the fourth lawyer, whereas the wife had retained the same lawyer for a very long period of time. So after that incident, one thing which we need to mention, because it's very significant, it's factual, I was there, I saw it, the wife, or there was someone who is said to be the boyfriend of the wife, who had come to support his partner, but he was not inside court when the shooting happened. He was outside. When he returned after that adjournment, he came inside and then he found the bodies. He tried to storm in the courtroom, but the police and the security, they had to prevent him from entering the courtroom because it was now a crime scene. Remember, this shooting happened inside the courtroom, inside, not in the passage, inside the courtroom. So the wife's boyfriend or the wife's partner tried to enter the courtroom, but then the police had to restrain him and said it's now an active crime scene. He couldn't enter. Of course, we don't want to draw any inferences and any insinuations, but it's important to mention that fact that there was a lover of the wife in the scene. That's what people told us, I saw the gentleman because in the process he was injured when he tried to break the window to access the courtroom. Then the paramedics had to bandage his arms because he was injured. He immediately left. He was taken to the ambulance afterwards.
All right, Siphamandla, well, we'll have to leave, I guess, the speculation about whether this lover or the presence of the wife's lover may have triggered this. But final question, and very quickly, did the couple have children, Siphamandla?
That's what the lawyer of the wife told me. They had 2 children, according to the lawyer. And if I'm not mistaken, yesterday she told me that the youngest is 2, if I'm not mistaken. But they are contradicting reports because I read something which says they have a 6-year-old daughter. We still need to verify that with the family. We've been unable to track down the family. We are told that they are somewhere in Johannesburg because the wife, when this divorce matter started, had to relocate to Johannesburg. She's originally from Johannesburg, we are told by her lawyer. So all family members are in Johannesburg. We are trying to get more details and more information. But yes, the couple did have children.
All right, Siphamandla Goge, thank you very much. We'll have to leave it there for the moment. Siphamandla Goge, following that tragic story of an off-duty officer who was going through a divorce proceedings in court, gets inside and shoots the soon-to-be ex-wife and the wife's brother.